Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a pretty wild story about value, about focus, and about a really unusual experiment. And it all boils down to one huge question. What's the most valuable currency we can actually spend to change the world?
So, let's meet our guy, a man named Arthur, but everyone calls him Pockets. And this quote? This is basically his religion. For Pockets, being constantly busy isn't just a way to live. It's proof that he's worth something. It's the sign that he's on his way to finally making a real difference.
And believe me, Pockets is nothing if not busy. I mean, get this. He's juggling a few ventures here. First up is something he calls synthetic sentiment arbitrage, which is a super fancy way of saying he trades on online emotional trends. Then there's temporal load balancing, which means he's basically a ghost worker handling executives' emails while they're asleep. And finally, his so-called big one, a high-tech hydroponic moss farm that he's betting his entire future on. He's convinced all this chaos, all this hustle, is the only way to build up enough cash to finally do some good in the world.
And this, right here, this is his core delusion. Pockets genuinely sees himself as this sort of white knight of capital. He thinks the only way to solve the world's problems is to build a giant fortress of money first. But here's the catch. Making a real contribution is always something he's putting off. It's always just one more big score away.
Okay, so while Pockets is totally lost in his digital hustle, somebody else is watching humanity, and they're watching from a much, much higher vantage point.
And from this cosmic perspective, their diagnosis of Earth is, well, it's pretty damning. They come to the conclusion that humanity's problem isn't a lack of tools or technology. Nope, we have literally everything we need to solve every major crisis. The real failure is organizational. It's a failure of collective will, a failure of focus.
So these observers, they identify what they call a stagnation loop that keeps the planet stuck. Here's how it works. Step 1, a new innovation creates more resources. Step 2, those resources get concentrated at the very top. Step 3, all that wealth creates what they call systemic dissociation. The rich just become completely detached from the world's real problems. And that leads to the final step, perpetual deferral. Fixing those global problems gets put off forever because, well, there's no immediate profit in it for the people in charge.
And this really shows the fundamental choice that's being made. You see, when faced with the option to either repair the system or just escape it, the wealthiest people aren't investing in fixing Earth. Not at all. They're investing in leaving it behind, pouring their capital into colonizing other planets to escape the very problems their money could help solve right here.
So, to break this incredibly destructive cycle, the observers decide, you know what, a more direct approach is needed. It is time for an intervention.
They decide to deploy this piece of tech they call the internal focus trigger, or IFT for short. Just think of it like a software update for the brain. It's designed to override a scattered mind and replace it with a single, unshakable focus.
And who's the perfect test subject for this little experiment? You guessed it, our guy, Pockets. He's the perfect embodiment of the problem, right? Brilliant ideas flying all over the place, but his effort is scattered in a million different directions. All potential, zero focus.
So, while Pockets is sleeping, totally clueless, this single, powerful directive gets beamed directly into his brain. It's a fundamental rewrite of his entire value system, designed to shift him away from chasing money and towards something way more immediate, way more local.
Now, Pockets wakes up completely unaware that there's this new code running in his head. He drags himself to the funeral of an old family friend, a woman named Alara Rourke, and the whole time he's just calculating the market losses he's taking by being away from his screens.
But at the service, he starts hearing all these stories about Alara, and nobody is talking about her money or her success. They're talking about something else she gave away, freely and directly. Her time, her knowledge, her focused commitment to the actual people standing right in front of her.
And this just presents this powerful contrast that completely shatters his worldview. I mean, his entire life has been about acquiring capital to fix problems on a global scale. Her life was about deploying focused time to find permanent solutions on a local scale. It is a totally different way of thinking about what's valuable. And then the story gets even weirder. Pockets gets this strange inheritance from Alara. It's not money. It's a single brass key and a big, heavy, old-fashioned ledger. And this ledger, he finds out, is the record book for an anti-store, a community built not on profit, but completely on sharing skills, sharing time, and building trust.
The moment his hands touch that heavy, analog ledger, something just clicks. That alien trigger, the IFT, it activates. And in an instant, his priorities are forcibly, chemically shifted.
An alert just screams from his wrist. His prize-winning moss farm is in total catastrophic failure, draining all of his accounts. But for the first time in his entire life, it feels like distant noise. It's unimportant. His entire being is now fiercely focused on the book in his hands.
So the directive is working, right? He's focused. He has this new purpose. But, and this is the real twist, even with this new programming, his deepest, oldest instincts are still there.
His very first, hardwired, gut reaction to seeing this beautiful, incredible system built on pure trust and time is, how can I make money off this? How can I optimize it? How can I scale it? The old Pockets is fighting back hard against that new directive.
And up in space, the observers see this. They note the conflict, because this is the real test. It's not about forcing focus. The question is, will his old obsession with efficiency and scale corrupt this new purpose? Or will the directive to commit, to focus on the person right in front of him, truly change him from the inside out? The IFT may have forced his focus, but the choice of what to do with that focus, well, that's still all on him. The experiment has only just begun.